Hello, hope everyone can hear me. Just put it in the chat. Sorry, we're starting off late. I think a lot of people are not joining today because it's late for a lot of people. Okay, so since this is recorded, I'll just say it. I'm Haritha, I'm an energy healer, an intuitive coach. I help people move out of limiting situations into a more positive and fulfilling lifestyle. And today we're going to be talking about the power of choice, what making a choice really entails. And we're going to be doing a guided meditation to release anything collective that is blocking us from making a decision that is good for us. So, what I noticed is that in the collective energy right now, this whole indecision process is going on, be it internally or it could be external as well, in terms of making a career choice or a relationship choice, in terms of money, whatever it is, in terms of health. There is some indecision process going on, and I think the collective energy right now is to help us make a decision. So the universe is actually pushing us to make a decision by forcing us to see aspects that we have been resisting to see. So this energy, I think I've been feeling for around 2 weeks, and I believe it's going to be there for another week as well. So making a choice, I mean, we always have a choice, right? So in terms of very limiting situations like not having any finances or situations like abuse, we may sometimes feel like we don't have a choice, we don't know how to get out of those situations, but actually, we always have a choice. What does this really mean? How can we possibly have a choice when we can't really see any way out of our situation? It means that the healthier choice that we need to make is the more frightening one. So, if I say this in terms of, say, abuse, it's not easy for me to actually make the choice to leave, because maybe somewhere I believe that if I leave, I'll get into more trouble, or someone's not going to believe me. I'll be left out in the cold. I will not be respected anymore. There are a lot of belief systems behind why we don't make a healthy choice. That is why we choose to stay in a less painful situation, which is probably abuse or probably lack of money or lack of health. Does that make sense? I just want you to put that in the chat. Are you able to relate to that? Where we choose something that is, according to us, according to our mind, less painful, but according to the world, very, very painful. It doesn't make sense to someone on the outside. Like, why would you choose to stay in a difficult situation? But that's what gives me that safety net. That's what helps us feel safe. And we always choose to feel safe because that is how we survive. Our primary motive on this planet is to survive, and our subconscious will always try to make us survive in some way or the other. And understanding this process of making a choice is what helps us. It's the foundation for self-love. When we talk about loving ourselves and putting ourselves first, it is this process of making a choice that will actually decide how much we love ourselves. I can sit here and I can say you need to be courageous and you need to be super determined to make the healthy choice, to leave that uncomfortable situation, to go towards something new. But what's stopping us is, one, we can't see anything new. We're not able to see it because we're so muddled and we're so cluttered by all the negative emotions, all that anger, the grief, the fear. It's mainly the fear. So, does that make sense? Are you all with me so far? I'm just going a little fast because we started a little late. So, with the whole self love process of making a choice, what we're really doing is we're unraveling those fears that we have underneath in our subconscious. Say, for example, I would stay in an abusive situation because that person is my friend. And if I don't stay, I would lose that friend and I would not have anyone to support me. That friend or relative or that relationship, if it's my partner, I wouldn't have anyone else to support me. That's my fear. I don't see another way out of it. So the reason we put ourselves in these situations is because we feel like it's impossible to get out of it. The only other option for me is to feel abandoned, and that is way more painful than physical pain, because that really makes us feel lonely and alone, and no one ever wants to feel lonely. No one ever wants to feel like they're not good enough. So we'll always try and make a decision based on where we feel like we're good enough, we're worthy, we're needed. No matter, when I talk about abuse, it doesn't have to be physical, it could be emotional, domestic, spiritual abuse. So we cling on to certain teachers, spiritual teachers of ours, because we feel like we can't do any better. We feel like they'll stop respecting us and then everyone else will stop respecting us for choosing ourselves. We feel like maybe we're not doing the right thing. So there is an underlying fear of abandonment or betrayal or being left out in the cold. It's all the same thing. Now there's another spectrum to this where we have too many options. And this is the interesting one. We have option A, B, C, D, E, F, G till Z and more. And we still feel so overwhelmed. There are people who feel overwhelmed with so many options. They don't know what to choose. Anytime you see they have too many options, and this is what leads to infidelity. This is what leads to not knowing which career path to choose. Because we have so many options, we like to keep our options open, and that's what we've been taught, right? Have a backup plan A, after plan A, have a backup plan B, C, D, F. That's our safety net. But why do we feel overwhelmed? Do you have any idea why would we possibly feel overwhelmed by having too many options? Or even two options, two or three. If you're able to choose, why would we possibly feel overwhelmed there? Drop it in the chat. Making the wrong choice. Yeah, that's one of the issues. Absence of knowing exactly what we want. Yeah. That's one of that those are very specific and very interesting things. The underlying core issue over here is the fear of knowing what I want, but not being able to get it. We're all born knowing exactly what we want. When we're born, we know we want our mother's milk, we want to sleep, we want to cry, we want food. We know exactly what we want. Where does that diminish? It diminishes in our childhood, but where does it start? It starts when someone says, are you sure that you want it? But if you ask, it's not possible, it's not practical for you to have it. You need to have another plan. What you want is going to waste everybody's time. So you shouldn't want that. If I want a toy, I can't have it till I probably finish eating my food. Or I can't have it because maybe the parents are not able to afford it, but they give me an excuse like, hey, it's not possible. For me, it's not possible to have it. So then I build up this wall by either cutting myself off from making any decision in terms of having many options. So I'll have only one option. I'll become really stubborn, or I'll completely remove all the boundaries that I have, and I'll say, okay, you make all the decisions. So I begin to have no boundaries. And this is what leads to having many, many, many options. We will never settle. We'll always jump from one thing to the other, to the next thing, to the next thing. And what are we learning? We're learning really beautiful things from here. We're learning to be open minded, we're learning to explore, we're learning to be playful. They're all amazing things. But at the cost of what? Our safety net becomes having too many options. Because if I just choose one thing, I don't believe I can have that. So we purposely put ourselves in a state of confusion. Does that make sense? So, what we need to tackle here is the fear of not having a choice. That's why we have so many options. Now, abundance is never a bad thing. Having an abundant number of choices is never a bad thing. But when you're on this journey of self love, it becomes very clear to you on which path to take. It has to be very clear. If it's not clear, then there is a sense of indecisiveness there, which means we're afraid of making a decision, which means we're afraid of even having only one option. And that's where you all said that the absence of knowing exactly what we really want, that actually means that you know what you want, but not knowing. If I believe that I don't know what I want, it would be easier for someone else to help me out. I still don't have to make a decision. It's not in my hands. I've given the responsibility to someone else. So now no one can come and blame me. I don't get hurt anymore. And I've got this very open mind saying, oh, anytime I can change, I can move, change my career anytime I want. If anything is possible. That's toxic positivity. Anything is possible is a true statement, but you have to look at the intention behind the statement. Where is it coming from? Do you have a pattern of never being committed? Or are you only committed for a short period of time and then you're like, okay, now I want to try something new, let's move on to something else? How do you know this? You know this mainly through your boundaries. How many people do you let in when it comes to making decisions? How many opinions do you take? Do you take opinions from so many different doctors, so many different people? Okay, one more opinion, one more opinion. I know they said that this is possible, but I just want to take one more opinion. And you take the third, fourth, fifth, sixth. But actually, when you are in tune with your heart, you will know exactly what you want. You won't go through that state of confusion. And our journey is to keep decluttering, because imagine our belief system as a spiral. Okay, it just keeps growing like this. And we can either pluck each part, one layer after the other, one fear after the other, or we can take it from the root. But boundaries is something that as and when we work on ourselves, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. That's why sometimes for some people, fame doesn't last because their boundaries are not strong enough. They don't know whom to trust. It's not enough to do self work on, okay, I was betrayed before, I was abandoned before, now I can't trust anyone. Let's work on that. Okay, now I'm able to trust people. That's not enough. There are many layers to it. So sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's just one thing that needs to be changed, but depending on how much you've been through and how your experience, sometimes it needs a little more of work. Yeah, toxic positivity is something that a lot of people associate, a lot of people in the spiritual path, especially, and even religious people. Because toxic positivity is basically we're not accepting and we're not acknowledging our underlying feelings. And so we end up saying, yeah, everything will be great, everything will be good, everything will work out. But underneath, if we are actually losing confidence, we're actually losing faith, we actually feel bad. And guess what? We will end up feeling bad. There is no use of being positive here because it's going to come back. That's why I never tell anyone to stay positive. There's no use. You feel your emotions. Feel through whatever you're feeling, whether it's fear, anger, resentment, grief, whatever it is, just feel through it. Because once you feel through it, you release it, you purge it out of your system, and then you're set. Even if you're feeling anxiety, feel it. Feel the anxiety and do it anyway. Feel the nervousness and do it anyway. People who perform on stage, it's not like they're never nervous, but they do it anyway. They express that they're nervous and they're anxious. They allow themselves to express. You need that in your career. You need that in your relationships. That's masculine energy to express, to put yourself out there. If you don't let it out, people won't see you. Energetically, also, we are not going to be sensed. Nobody's going to come towards you. Your manifestations don't work because you're not allowing, you're suppressing that part of you that wants to be seen, that authentic part of you. And nobody said it's wrong to feel sad emotions. That's just a collective olden day belief. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? Just put it in the chat. So what's happening here is there is an underlying belief of I'm incapable of making my own choice. Therefore, I'm just going to give it to others. So what I'm going to let other people make the choice for me, right? So there are four or five things that are very prominent here. One is we lose our boundaries. We lose our sense of authority, where we don't we dump it on someone else. So we no longer make any decisions. We can no longer be our own leader. In other terms, we become lazy, complacent, non-committal. We become erratic sometimes, or we become very, very introverted. We have problems with authority. We have problems with probably every single boss of us. Either we're not good enough for them or we're too stubborn for them. Generally, it's not good enough when it comes to having too many choices, too many options. We're not good enough for them. So we're gonna always have trouble with authority and making decisions there. Then there is issues with ownership. We we never belong anywhere. Ownership is owning something, right? We never belong anywhere. So there's nothing I can call mine. I don't have a home. So I'll just keep house hopping. We've heard of restaurant hopping, bar hopping, and things. We'll be house hopping from one family to another, from one friend group to another. We'll never be able to sit still. Stillness and inner peace is not an option at all, right? And nothing will stay long enough in our lives to call it our own. So it's not just we won't be commit, nothing will stay in our lives as well, energetically, because we're not in that frequency. We don't match the frequency of commitment. The fourth one is lack of accountability. So we don't take responsibility, we don't take accountability, we don't accept where we play a role. So it's like we're actually erasing ourselves from existence, but we still want to experience things, so we just linger around here and there, right? And the most basic need of safety and security is lost. It affects that. It's not lost, it's affected. We feel safe in being unknown, in not committing, in not being seen, in not making a decision, in always being in a confused state. We feel safe there. So boundaries, authority, ownership, accountability, safety, and security, these are the five things that get majorly affected, and this then decides the rest of our lives. Does that make sense? And all of this result in the fear of commitment. This lack of boundaries, and this is what results in infidelity. This is what results in having so many plates and not knowing which one to choose. This is what results in hoarding. This is what results in polyamorous relationships sometimes. This is what results in being 29 and still not having a strict career path. We don't have to know what we're going to do, but we will have some sense of direction. Having no sense of direction at all for many, many years is because of this fear of commitment, which is coming from not allowing ourselves to make a decision, right? So this is why we say making a choice is very simple. Today I can make one choice today or this moment, and next moment I can change it. I'm making a different choice, so it's very malleable. You can shift through it, but I never recommend using this malleability in this malleable nature of making a choice as a safety net or as a basis of making a decision, because if the intention is not right, we will keep doing this house hopping thing. We will never commit, or we'll become very stubborn. So the only thing I'd recommend is to use this freedom nature of making a choice as a tool of faith, that it's possible I can change things later, but let me first look at why this particular thing is not working for me right now. Why am I not allowing myself to settle? Why am I not allowing myself to feel safe? Why am I always nervous? This is what causes nervousness. Our nervous system starts reacting, our adrenal glands start reacting. It's never going to settle. This is what causes a lack of this is a lack of foundation, right? So our basic stuff, money doesn't work out. Food, we won't be choosing the right food to eat, or we'll have too many things to choose from. Leg pain, knee problems on your left knee, lack of purpose, feet pain. It's all of this, lower back issues, spine issues, spondylitis. They're all it's all related. Bone issues, any skeletal system issues. Because we're not strong. We don't have the strength and the courage inside us. Digestive issues, indigestion. The digestive system knows how to digest everything, but we're overwhelming it with so much, or we're not giving enough. Both are not good. So both affect, both create problems inside. Acidity. These are the like main things. So in my previous meditation, I spoke about the importance of safety, redefining safety, why feeling safe is really important. And that is important here as well. If we don't feel safe enough to make a choice, as adults, it is important to create safe space for everyone around us, not just our families, for everyone around us to make a choice, to make a decision. If I am allowed that space to make a decision, I allow myself to at least explore the different options that I have, and also have the confidence that whatever I choose will be accepted. That is called creating space. It's very important for us to create space for the younger generation, for our colleagues, our employees. Allow them to make the decision. And if they're not able to, there's an aspect of us that we need to work on. Where are we not able to make a decision? Where do we feel like we don't have a choice? So there are so many, and I'm just not making a decision. Where have we been complaining about the same thing for years or months or days? Where have we been repeating the same cycle, the same pattern? Where have I not put my foot down and said, this is my dream and I'm going to follow it no matter what? Whatever the reason. The reason could be not enough finances, not proper health, kids, family, other work commitments. It could be anything. Forget the excuses. Is it actually happening? Is what you want actually happening? So, this is that cycle of actually understanding and growing out of it. That is what will give us the courage. Because when we understand that all of this is coming from a very innocent space of not feeling good enough and feeling lonely and not feeling accepted, then it's very quick. Then you realize that that is where it's coming from. So now I can shift. Now I have the courage to shift it. The courage and the confidence will automatically come in. The determination will automatically come in. That's the next step. So, how does that feel for you all? Just put it in the chat if you have any questions, any doubts. So, it's important to work on those fears, those insecurities. Yeah. Okay, so now if we're ready, we'll dive into the meditation. So, it's a two-part meditation. First, we will purge collectively whatever is in the heart, the grief, the sorrow, the heartbreak that we have felt. We'll just let it out. We'll release it through energy work, and then we'll bring in new energy of confidence and things like that. Because once we purge, we create space. And now it's just about having that confidence to make the decision. Your internet connection is unstable. That's okay. The session is recorded. You can come back to it later. No worries. So if you're ready, just sit back, relax, have a glass of water if you want, and just close your eyes. And take a deep breath in through your nose and release and exhale through your mouth. Take another deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And as you exhale, just blow out the air. Take another deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. I just want you to observe your body, the sensations you're feeling in your body, and just allow it. Now, when I say the word sorrow, observe which part of your body you feel that. You feel any sensation. You feel maybe you feel warm, you feel a pain, maybe you feel a lightness. Just trust wherever you're feeling any kind of sensation, whether it may be in multiple places. I want you to bring your attention to that area. Maybe it comes in the form of a knowing that this is where I'm feeling it. And if you're able to remember a memory when you felt that sorrow, I want you to relive that memory. Imagine it happening. And as we imagine it happening, just imagine all of that sorrow. Give it a color and just watch that color release. We're going to pull all of that sorrow from your bones, your lungs, your chest, your throat, whichever part of the body you're feeling it. I'm going to send it to the light. And as we do this, I want you to remember to breathe. So we allow it to release and allow the energy to flow through us. Along with this, any grief associated with this sorrow, let's just watch it release. Let's also release the feelings of heartbreak, where we lost confidence in ourselves, confidence in other people. If you're able to remember a memory, an incident, just allow that to resurface, where you felt heartbroken, where you lost trust in others, where you were betrayed or abandoned. If you're not able to think of one, just allow the vibrations to release from your body. We're sending it all to the light. So imagine a white light above you, sucking in, sucking all that sorrow, that grief, that pain, heartbreak, the lack of confidence, the disbelief. How is this even possible? You can watch it release as colors, you can feel it in your body, or you can know. Maybe you can hear words of affirmation. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing, just allow it. Feelings of loss, feeling manipulated, feeling abused, being manipulative, being an abuser, whatever it is, any guilt. I'm seeing there's a lot of guilt stored in the chest and the forehead. Just ask yourself, what good things do you get out of holding on to this guilt? Are you able to make better decisions by holding on to guilt? If so, just release that. Are you able to be a better person by holding on to guilt? Or anything else? Let's release all of that. All of those obligations, the need to hold on to guilt, so that we can now allow ourselves to experience all of those positive things without feeling guilty, without needing to be heartbroken. We'll also do a quick womb clearing to release any feelings of abuse. So bring your attention to your abdomen, your stomach, your womb. And just imagine a vortex of light entering your womb through your navel and just sucking out all of those feelings of being not good enough, feelings of guilt for being a man or a woman, feeling not good enough for your mom, for your mother, not being good looking enough, not being wise enough, not being responsible enough, or needing to be responsible, not being intelligent enough, anything, whatever comes up. It's also release feelings of not being attractive enough, not being a priority to your partner, to your family, to your kids, to your colleagues, everyone. That you have to settle for less. that you have to be practical. This is all stored in the womb, and it stops our creativity from flowing. Because the womb is a space of creation and creativity. So let's release anything that is too realistic and too practical. Let's bring our attention down to your thighs and your legs and release any feelings of resentment. Resentment towards life. Why is life like this? Why do I have to go through this? Any doubts about your path? Any feelings of not being capable enough to make your own decisions? Let's just release that. I want you to imagine roots growing from the bottom of your feet down into the earth like a tree, rooting you in the faith and belief that you are good enough, that you are capable of making healthy choices, decisions that are highest and best for you through faith, through love, and that you are able to be open minded, that you're able to explore, you're able to accept yourself and others without judgment, and other people's choices without judgment, without needing to close yourself off from making any decisions, without needing to feel like you have less and you lack the ability to make a decision, that you lack the resources to make a decision, to make a choice. Let's root you in that faith. Now, I want you to bring your attention to your higher heart chakra, which is just above your chest. Just above your chest, just below your throat. It's that sore space, the space that is fragile. This is the space where you're able to make decisions from your heart center, from your intuition, from your faith. Not fear, not doubt, not lack. Let's purge and pull any feelings of anger, for not having enough, any negativity, any negative speech that we have spoken towards ourselves and others. There is no use, this is useless, we're wasting time. The interesting thing is, if we're wasting time by doing what we want, we're also wasting time by doing what we don't want, because we're never going to settle. The soul never settles for something that it does not want. So, either way, we're wasting time, if that is the logic. So, let's release all of these emotions and these feelings. The time is less, it's too late. I want you to imagine it being pulled out of your throat, like you're vomiting it out of your throat, out of your mouth. All of that anger towards yourself, the guilt towards yourself, the resentment towards yourself and others, the judgments you've made towards yourself. Those are the same judgments others make towards us. What we believe about ourselves is what others believe about us. It's what they come and tell us. Let's release all of that guilt and that sorrow there. Let's teach you how to let go of what no longer serves you. Let's download that, bring that energy into your heart space. Imagine this white light coming into your heart from the top of your head. The energy of, I know how to let go of what no longer serves me. I know how to trust in myself, in my faith. I'm able to make decisions from a space of love and affection towards myself and others. I have all the time in the world to make decisions without being complacent, without being incapable of making any decision. I have all the freedom in the world. And I have all the support in the world to make these decisions. I have all the clarity that I need to make these decisions. I'm able to recognize them. I want you to imagine what that would feel like and look like. What would it look and feel like if you knew what you want and you were able to make the decision to go and get it or draw it into your life with ease and with grace? And any feelings of impossibility associated with that, let's just release it to the light. Feelings of not being worth it, let's release it to the light. Let's show you and let's teach you that whatever you dream of, you deserve. And that it is possible. If you can dream it, you can have it. You can create it. And you always have the support to create it. Any remaining cellular trauma that we have associated to any of those memories where we felt the rejection, the manipulation, the betrayal, heartbreak, sorrow, grief, whatever we discussed, anything that's lingering around, let's just send that to the light. Imagine a vortex of light on top of your head, over your head, just sucking it all, allowing yourselves to finally breathe. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and just exhale through your mouth and blow the air out. And take another deep breath in through your nose and blow out all of that trauma. the lingering emotions, the lingering vibrations. In all parts of you that you have left in other people, all those boundaries that you put down, all those walls that you built so close to your heart, let's release all of that. I want you to imagine yourself in the middle of a beautiful gated community where you can get out when you want, you can come in when you want. There's a good security system to stop random people from entering without your permission. This is your boundary. It's safe, it's secure, you're at home. You get to decide. You have support from others to decide. You have all the resources, you have the security system to make the decision. You have the authority, and you are committed to yourself. You are committed to your own growth, your own evolution, to always becoming the highest and best version of yourself, to always feeling all of your emotions, always making the choice of being happy, choosing happiness, all in the highest and best way. I want you to bring your attention back to your chair, the chair you're sitting in, your feet, your knees, your legs, your stomach, your shoulders. You can just move your shoulders a little, rotate them if you want. Rotate your neck a little bit if you want, just to give your body a little bit of movement and circulation. When you're ready, rub your palms together, place them over your eyes. Take a deep, deep breath in, and you can open your eyes when you're ready. Put down in the chat, how are you feeling? How is the meditation? Did you feel anything? Did you see anything? Any memories? Did you see nothing? That's also amazing. Did you feel the purge? I saw everyone, all of a sudden, there was so much of light in everyone. Actually, the process was supposed to just be the heart and the throat, but then I was guided to take you all through the womb and the legs as well, because there was a lot stored there. There was a lot of resentment stored in the bones. And this is all past stuff. They no longer help you in any way. You're good to go. Step into the next stage of your life. Feeling good. Amazing. Is there anything you'll want to share? You can just share it on the chat and then we can end the session. In between, I started burping a little bit, and that's how I know that there is a release happening. With a little bit of resistance, but there is a release happening. And if you are feeling sleepy, that's completely normal because you've just gone through a process of purging. So, it's like how we do it with food, right? When we're detoxing, you need to take rest. Was feeling very heavy in the chest and throat pain in the beginning, now feeling better. Yeah, I saw that from the chest and the throat, it was just releasing and releasing and releasing and releasing. It was not ending. So if you want, you can replay this and do the clearing again. It'll really help. Sometimes we need like 2 or 3 doses of it to for it to completely release. So maybe that may be necessary. You can just play it in the background, it'll work. When you're doing your other stuff, except driving, don't drive and listen to any energy healing videos. You will not get concentration because you're in a meditative state. And we don't want to be in a meditative state when we need to be alert and on the road. Otherwise you can anywhere you need to make really important decisions, do not listen to this decision making meditation. It will not help you. Okay, thank you all for attending. I'll send the Yeah, why will it not help? Because you need to be alert, and if you're in a meditative state and your body is in a healing state, it's not just meditative, it's in a healing process. You need to give that focus for that. It's in the feminine energy state. It's purging. The focus needs to be there. Otherwise, the process doesn't complete, and you will also not be able to focus on making the right choice because your energy is everywhere. A part of it is inside, a part of it is outside, and there is a process, right? First there's a purge, then there is bringing in new energy, then we're bringing in parts of ourselves that we've left in different places. So it's possible that parts of ourselves are still somewhere else and we're in the process of making a choice. When you're making a choice, make sure that your full attention is in the present, you're grounded and you're feeling safe. That's why we don't make choices from the space of fear, from the space of not having enough time, because the truth is there's always enough time. From a 3D perspective, we may feel like there's not enough time, but there is always enough time. We can bend time through energy work. So why can't we bend time? Why is it impossible to bend time, to bend resources? All we need to do is set an intention that I want this is the outcome I want, and I want it in the highest and best way possible. So guide me. Ask the universe to guide you. What action steps do I need to take? And you'll receive the guidance, maybe through a dream, maybe through a friend. You'll receive it, maybe through meditation. Yeah. Thank you so much for attending. The replay will be up on YouTube, um, hopefully in 24 hours' time, and you'll all get a link to it. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Take care.